So it looks like we're going to be getting information on the PlayStation 5 Pro sometime in September. Clearly, with a November launch time, they don't want to lose sales by coming out and announcing things too early with the PlayStation 5 Pro. But we are in a weird kind of situation where some news is leaking out and we're kind of getting some idea on what's happening. One of the things that realistically is going on right now behind the scenes is that the PlayStation 5 Pro is sort of stealing Microsoft's thunder. Let's be real. Microsoft did a fantastic job with their showcase, but there is some lingering things that are kind of happening behind the scenes, right? So even though they had a really good show and people are excited about it, there's also this weird situation where gamers are a little bit wary as well, because at the end of the day, you have a platform that might not have any exclusives, that might not have anything that is going to push things to that next level, so to speak. So, PlayStation has exclusives, Nintendo platform has exclusives, but what about Xbox, right? That's a big question mark for a lot of people. And the other thing that is kind of going to hurt Xbox is something that people aren't really talking much about, so I figured it'd be worth doing a video about it. First of all, it looks like, according to some of the leaks that we're seeing, we could be seeing a price between $549.99 and $599.99. So it really could be something in that price or whatever. My best guess, and according to this anyway, is the fact that it would be $599. And the reason why is just because it's going to be an enthusiast product, and a lot of people are probably just going to trade in their current Xbox or whatever and be able to play that and things like that. So to me, the thing that is most interesting about this, developers are obviously already getting games ready and things like that. That's why some of this stuff kind of already leaked out. But they're getting ready to release this at the end of the year. Apparently, this thing's been ready for a little bit. They're waiting for more games. But guess what those games are going to be? Some of these games are going to be first-party Xbox games. You remember the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X? They got enhanced versions of games, right? So imagine, this Call of Duty is going to be pretty huge. Yes, it's going to be a Game Pass, but what a blow that would be to Xbox if the PS5 Pro version is significantly better than the Xbox version, right? So, codename Trinity, the PlayStation 5 Pro model will include a more powerful GPU, a slightly faster CPU, as kind of we've gone over before. All of Sony's changes point to a PS5 Pro that will be far more capable of rendering games with ray tracing enabled or hitting higher resolutions and frame rates in certain titles. Sony also appears to be encouraging developers to use graphics features like ray tracing more with the PS5 Pro, with games able to use a Trinity Enhanced PS5 Pro Enhanced label if they provide some kind of significant enhancement. So keep that in mind. You're going to be able to see, these games that have, hey, this is a enhanced game or whatever. And I think that is a huge selling point for, a lot of people. And, look, Microsoft are going to have to figure out something to do before too long with this. Obviously they're not going to have a console to go up against this, but Microsoft is going to have to figure out how they want to handle that and how they're going to be able to kind of get people on board. Like, who is going to buy, if you guys notice this, Microsoft has slight refreshes, right? But their refreshes in that special edition console, right? So just a regular Xbox Series X with the starry things on it or whatever are is $599. So it's weird to me that we don't see the price drops the way that we used to. That's a weird thing for me. Remember back in the day, consoles would constantly go down in price. That's not necessarily the case anymore. We're not seeing that happen, which is extremely unfortunate to say the least. But it puts Sony in a very good spot, because if you want an upgrade, you're going to be able to do that, and it puts the pressure on Microsoft. A lot of people are saying they're going to come out with a couple different SKUs in a couple years. The handheld being one of them, and then of course a regular SKU or whatever. But and the handheld's supposedly going to be dockable and whatnot, but we'll see how that kind of all works out. Maybe it's going to be something that works out for the best. I'm not really sure, but it is interesting to see how Sony is kind of treating this right now. And you know, they've got this thing. You see the regular PS5 sales are kind of flagging down a little bit. I think like a lot of people, more than people want to realize that this thing is, you know, is coming, and they're going to wait off for it. So Sony does expect the GP rendering on the PS5 Pro to be about 45% faster than on the standard PS5, and according to some of these documents outlining the upcoming console, the PS5 Pro GPU will be larger and use faster system memory to help improve ray tracing in games. Sony is also using a more powerful ray tracing architecture in the PS5 Pro, where the speed here is up to 3 times faster and better than the regular PS5. Trinity is high-end version of the PlayStation 5. According to this, it'll continue to sell standard PS5 after the new model launches, and Sony is expecting some developers to have a single package that will support both PS5 and PS5 Pro consoles with existing games able to be patched for higher performance. Developers are able to order test kits right now, and that Sony is expecting every game submitted to certification in August to be compatible with the PS5 Pro. The full PS5 Pro specs and indicated the console is set to release during the holiday this year. While Sony is improving the GPU side of the Pro, the CPU will be pretty much the same as the standard, with a new mode that clocks in higher. Trinity has a mode that targets 3.85 gigahertz. Sony's documents say that's about 10% more than the regular PS5. They'll offer developers the ability to pick between a standard and a high CPU frequency mode. So the standard mode operates just like a regular PS5, where a certain amount of power is allocated to a CPU. If the power budget allows for it at lower frequencies, if the PS5 is performing power intensive operation. So anyway, the PS5 Pro will also have some changes to system memory for developers. The standard PS5 memory runs at 448 gigabytes a second, but Sony is bumping this up by 28% to 576 gigabytes per second on the Pro. As the memory system is more efficient on the Pro, the bandwidth gain may exceed 28% according to Sony. So, you know, they've got a lot of things cooking, but I think the biggest thing is having these Xbox games that are going to play better. Like, imagine if, you know, they end up getting an Indiana Jones. We know they're going to get Doom. We know they're going to get Call of Duty. But, you know, there's these other games there's these other games that are going to go out there and kind of just look better on there. The new architecture supports Sony's custom PSSR upscaling solution, which is designed to replace the game's existing temporal anti-aliasing or upsampling implementation. Sony notes that inputs are quite similar to DLSS or FSR, and that full HDR support is included. The support requires around 250 megabytes of memory, which is why the memory allocations in the Pro should help. Sony says there is around 2 milliseconds of latency involved in upscaling a 1080p image to 4K, and that the company is working to support resolutions of up to 8K, even improve the latency in the future. So if developers are able to get their games ready in time, it should be expected to see a Pro launch this holiday. Sony appears to be following the same playbook as the PS4, with a slim PS5 model and then a Pro edition, expecting to see an enhanced library of games for the Pro. They're going to kind of do something like a smart delivery system, what Microsoft did at the beginning of this generation, where it kind of tells you which game is, oh, you're going to download a Xbox One game, or you're going to download an Xbox Series X version, so it automatically will tell or whatever. So I think that's pretty interesting. But like I said, the thing that could put people off further on Xbox is that, again, the Xbox games are really kind of at a little bit of a turning point, because again, at the end of the day, having these games play better on PlayStation hardware really is going to be a negative talking point for Xbox. Like, people are going to talk about this, right? So no matter what people think, people 100% are going to talk about what's going on and how this affects Xbox, and all these comparisons and things are going to severely hamper what is happening with Microsoft and Xbox Series X, and possibly even the future of Xbox. So we'll see. Anyway, how do you guys feel about that? Do you guys are you interested in a PS5 Pro? Do you think it'll suck to have games run better on PlayStation? Let me know. I appreciate the feedback. Thanks for watching. Crap Gamer out.